There's a chapter in the Bible that's a lot like a rock climbing carabiner. It serves as an anchor in the difficult climbs that life can bring us. In this chapter, there are some massive things that God says about facing tragedy. This chapter has the potential to change our perspective on it. Personally, it's gotten me through a lot of painful situations in life. There was a guy named Paul who wrote most of the New Testament and was a central figure in spreading the news of Jesus' death and resurrection to the whole world. And in AD 56 and 57, Paul wrote a letter to the church in Rome. And back at that time, Rome was the place to be. It was the powerhouse empire. Paul probably hoped that this letter to the church would affect the entire empire, which could in turn impact the entire world. The problem for the church, however, was that the leader of the empire was Emperor Nero. And many people believe that Nero had a strong hatred of Christians and that he wanted to torture and execute them. It's safe to assume that the Roman church was well versed in seeing and experiencing tragedy. Paul's situation was no walk in the park either. At the time he wrote the letter to the church, he was about to travel to Jerusalem, and he knew that his life would be in danger there. Some people assume that he wrote this letter to Rome believing that it would be his last will and testament. So when you read the following words, understand that they were written and read not out of a lounge chair beside a pool, but out of a very unstable and difficult situation, out of a shadowland. There was potential for a lot of fear and heartache for both the reader and the writer. And with that in mind, Paul wrote this. Romans 8:31. What then shall we say in response to these things? If God is for us, who can be against us? When Paul says these things, he's talking about the suffering that he's facing and that the Roman Christians are facing. He's talking about a lot of pain, a lot of heartache, a lot of tragedy, a lot of shadowlands. He then makes an interesting statement. If God is for us. Have you ever thought about that? God is for you. God is for you. Think about that.